Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Paul Krieger.
Hey, everybody.
His lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
His not lovely wife, Sue Saunders.
But very lovely.
You would be a lovely wife.
Well, thank you.
Oh, well, wow, there's a thing going on. And our producer back in the nook, Mr. John Sakari, bigfatpanda.com.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
I always like to give him a plug for his YouTube channel, bigfatpanda.com. Just go there. It goes right to his YouTube channel. Wonderful stuff.
Thank you.
Wonderful stuff.
And you just hit a subscriber,
I hit 100. Let me tell you, I was at 97,000 forever. And then I had Pete. I told him, and Pete's like, hold on. He did something within 5 minutes.
I went on to my Facebook page, not my personal page, I guess they call it a fan page, at Disney Pete is my Facebook page. And I tend to post more on that one than I do on my personal one. But I went on there and I said, come on, guys, help out Panda. And pushed him over the edge.
We were on a cruise ship at the time, and I went, and I wanted to be like, I did it. But I was like, Pete, you did it. Thank you very much, Pete.
Awesome.
It's the magic that is me. All right, just a reminder, folks, this show, along with all the DVC content we produce, brought to you by the world of DVC. That includes DVCResaleMarket.com, where Ms. Sue Saunders here can help you buy a DVC resale contract. DVCRentalStore.com, where Mr. Paul Krieger can help you rent out your DVC points or rent DVC points if you'd like to give DVC a try before you buy. And MoneraFinancial.com, the crack dealers of the DVC world. They make it so easy. People like Amy Krieger make it very easy for you to finance your DVC purchase. Amy just says yes all day. That's her job, is to just say yes. So please show your support. If you like our content, show your support by giving your business to our sponsors. All right, this week, we are going to talk about unpopular DVC opinions. We put a question up asking our friends in the DVC world on our Facebook page, DVC Fan, about their unpopular opinions. I have not looked at these. Apparently there are some good ones because Paul's got a crap-eaten grin on his face right now. And he was very happy when I told him I have not read them. So I'm going to be hearing them along with you for the first time, and we'll get reactions.
Yeah, we did this, it's been like 18 months or so, and I think the previous show where we did unpopular opinions was where It's Got a Friggin' Savannah came from. And so
who knows what
might come from this episode. So, but I really want to kick it off with the one that my lovely wife Amy put out there, which was that Stormalong Bay at Beach Club is overrated because you wanted to own there forever.
Yeah, so I really like Stormalong Bay, and obviously it's very popular space, but just also like listening to some of the opinions of some other members and really thinking it through. Like, I understand where that comes from. You know, it is kind of, it's very large and it's a maze to get around. Like, you can just really easily get lost. And so a lot of families that have younger children really struggle with Stormalong Bay because of how hard it is to get around, because the slide, you have to go all the way out of the pool and across the way and up like 3 flights of stairs. And just because the depth of the pool kind of, it goes from, 2 to 3 to 6 and it's just kind of all over the place. So a lot of parents who have young children that maybe aren't strong swimmers have said like this pool is not as great as everyone makes it out to be. For us, it's kind of a nightmare. So I understood that, why that was a valid, unpopular opinion.
I can see that. It's like anything else. Look, in comparison to the other pools at the other resorts, Stormalong Bay is a pretty impressive pool. But I think over the years, what's happened is it's kind of developed this almost mythology to how amazing Stormalong Bay is. Tamp it down. Dial it back to a 5. It's a pool. It's a pool with kids in it. More of an unflushed toilet than it is a pool. So
I would say how amazing it is depends upon if you've been to Alani.
Oh, I was just thinking that.
Oh, funny you mention Alani because someone's unpopular opinion. Alani is way overrated. Bad location, overpriced food, even by Hawaiian standards, and it's on the worst of Hawaiian islands.
What?
okay, first of all, whoever
His name is James.
James, you're banned. You're banished from my kingdom. Off to Siberia with you. You are outside the sunshine of my favor. Alani's overrated? Based on what?
No, I'm sorry.
Look, is Hawaii an expensive place to? Yeah, it is. Given, I don't care where you are on Hawaii, where you're staying. It's expensive. As Disney resorts go, it is the best Disney has anywhere in the world, at least of the ones that I have been to. And I have been to many. In Tokyo, in Paris, certainly on both coasts here in the United States. I haven't done the ones in Shanghai or Hong Kong, so I can't speak to those. But of the ones I have experienced, which are plentiful, Alani is the best Disney resort there is. And it is the best run Disney resort there is. Calling that overrated, you fell and hit your head. You fell and hit your head.
I do see the argument a lot about the location of which island it's located on. We love the island, obviously, but that's our only experience in Hawaii is going to
Oahu.
Yeah, is going to Oahu, and we stayed over at Waikiki Beach first, and then we went to Alani, and we really enjoyed our time there. But we've not been to the other islands. Are they as far superior as some some people
They have
make them out
a different
to be?
charm. Maui is a lovely island, but unpopular opinion, I found Maui boring. I found Maui completely boring. Now, Kauai, gorgeous. Absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. Of the Hawaiian Islands, that's my preference. But I love Oahu. There's a lot to do on Oahu. There's not a lot to do in Kauai.
Yeah.
There isn't really a lot to do in Maui either. Just Maui, I don't know. You want to add overrated. Maui is, in my opinion, very overrated.
I think the big thing really is accessibility. It's the easiest island to fly into, so I think that's really why Disney decided to put it where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so hard to get people just to go to Alani, period. And so they needed to put it on whatever island was the best. But
there's also history there. I mean, you go there and you can see Pearl Harbor. You can go to the pipeline. So there's a lot of history there which we found fascinating. But I'm with Pete. I mean, to me, I think that Alani is the best, most immersive experience type of Disney hotel. It just, you walk in there and you are embodied in the heritage of Hawaii and the culture. And you can't find that in any other resort.
Now, we've spent too much time talking about this nonsense that Alani's overrated.
Bye, James.
Goodbye, James. You are dismissed.
somehow toilets came up a couple minutes ago, so I had this one down. Funny segue. But Kevin said Polynesian needs 2 commodes, not 2 showers. The wrong plumbing was installed.
Yeah,
I get that. I 100% agree with that. You know, in terms of what you need when you've got 4 or 5 people in a split bathroom, deluxe studio villa. You need 2 toilets. The shower's never the argument. I feel like it's get out of the toilet. I need the toilet. I'm
You know, just always go to Beach Club.
All right. What else you got?
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Dan had one for us. Our last trip, my wife said Joffrey's coffee was the worst. It's so blah. For specialty coffee, this is not the place.
Here's the thing. What they're serving in the parks, I am inclined to agree. Now, if you buy Joffrey's direct, right? If you get the Joffrey's and you brew it yourself, it's very good. There's some very, very good blends that Joffrey's has. I don't know why what they're serving in the parks is quite as... Now, it's not nearly as bad, in my opinion, as Starbucks. Okay? So let's get... unpopular opinions. Let's get something straight. Starbucks beans are cheap beans that couldn't cut it anywhere else, that are burnt. They have made that burnt flavor chic. Brilliant marketing. I tip my hat to them. It's brilliant marketing, but it's crappy coffee. It's crappy coffee. Everybody, oh no, I love my Starbucks.
It's because we
Veranda blend, the blonde roast, the veranda blend. Okay, they had to come up with something that wasn't.
With Starbucks, we flavor it so much. That's why it's okay. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't flavor it, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and if you like burnt coffee, Starbucks, knock yourself out. But I don't like things burnt. I don't like my food burnt. I certainly don't like my coffee burnt. But I'm inclined to agree on the Joffrey's that is being served in the parks. I think Joffrey's is missing a huge opportunity, not upping their game in the parks, because what's happening? People are tasting that going, this is crap. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. Now, it's definitely, I think we've all forgotten about the Nescafe that Joffrey's replaced. That some places on property still use. And on Disney Cruise Line and the main coffee thing, it's concentrate. It's coffee concentrate that they add hot water to. And it tastes like coffee concentrate. So Joffrey's is a step up from that, but not nearly as good as it could be. So I am inclined to agree with that opinion. That opinion is correct. I like the last one.
What's funny about a lot of these unpopular opinions, I feel like 90% of them out there, like they're not unpopular opinions.
Oh yeah,
like,
some of those are just straight fact. like I was reading through those. That's not an opinion.
They were
that's
just
not unpopular.
Straight facts. That's not unpopular. So Wayne though wanted to chime in and say the Riviera Resort just seems like any other chain hotel similar to a Marriott. The theming is just there, in my opinion. Oh, sorry. Theming just isn't there, in my opinion.
Okay, Wayne. Let's have a chat.
By the way, I would just like to throw this out before people feel like we're throwing names under the bus. Amy did, in this initial post, ask whether or not we could use first names when we were addressing people in here. And they agreed to it.
If you want to put yourself on the line of fire, God bless. I'm going to guess Wayne has never been to Europe. I'm going to guess Wayne has never stepped foot in Europe.
Or the Riviera.
Well, probably at least in the Riviera. But what turned me around on Riviera, I wasn't going to give Riviera much of a fighting chance from the beginning with the resale restrictions. I'm still not a fan of the resale restrictions. However, I do own now several contracts at Riviera, both resale and direct. And I'll tell you why. It was during the pandemic. I was over there. And, it had been a while. I usually travel to Europe once a year, on average. And I was really missing it. I just, for weeks I'd been thinking, I'd love to get back to Europe. There's a feel when you're in Europe that is unique. And depending on where you are, it's even more unique. And I got that feeling at Riviera. I felt that European charm. The other hotel in Orlando that delivers that spectacularly, the Portofino Bay over at Universal. One of the best hotels in Orlando, if not the best. I'm a huge fan of Portofino Bay for that reason. The Imagineers nailed it with that European feel to that resort. And it carried that theme throughout that resort. What they did with the artwork at Riviera, taking Disney themes and doing them in classical style, a Van Gogh, a Degas, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think it's also an incredibly well-run hotel. I was there for its opening day, its grand opening day, and you would have thought that hotel had been open for years. It was so seamless, at least on the guest facing.
Yep.
Guest facing. I understand from people who work there that behind the scenes they were running around like crazy, but they never let it show. Incredibly well run, theming that absolutely delivers on what it's supposed to be. A French Riviera resort. You show me a Marriott that's going to evoke that emotion. Show me a Marriott that's going to evoke an emotion above meh. So comparing that to a Marriott, another one fell and hit his head. All right, what other nonsense do we have here?
All right, we'll go a little bit away from DVC for this next one, but it's slightly related. Lakeya, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, said, not DVC specific, but I hate the H2O products and I'm so happy they're discontinuing the line. Okay,
again, welcome to Short Attention Span Theater. Did you forget what those replaced?
I think I still have some of those at home. We've got some of those.
The watered down shampoos that used to be in the rooms.
I remember the orange. Was it the orange stuff or?
And they used to have like little Mickey ear.
Had little Mickey ears on it.
Yep.
Oh no,
Twist
I don't,
caps.
I don't remember.
Twist cap,
Yep.
little Mickey ears on it. I think somewhere I still have some.
It was like cheap Suave stuff.
Yes.
Suave was a step up. I think that disparages Suave unnecessarily. The H2O was a massive improvement, and one of the reasons they did it is the number of people that complained about how bad for what you were paying, how bad the in-room amenities were. We had problems with with the shampoo. We had problems with the coffee. They changed both. And we complained about both changes. Okay, this is why there's no keeping us happy. This is why Disney just throws up their arms and calls us legacy fans, but that's a topic for another show. H2O was a big improvement over that. And I use H2O product. And I'm not somebody who...
Yeah, to me the smell is Disney. You know, the scent is so unique. And I think that's what I like about it. Like when you smell that, like it's sea marine, right? Is like the shampoo and the lotion is sea salt. Like when you smell that, you think of Disney. So.
Do we know what they're replacing it with?
There's been nothing really publicly announced, nor have they really said that they're moving. I know that they've said that basically they're getting rid of that line, but it remains to be seen. Like maybe Disney behind the scenes, bought their rights to the smells or the formula.
Yeah,
or who knows
H2O
what.
is actually going out of business.
H2O
right?
is,
It's not that
yeah.
Disney is just getting
Correct.
rid of them. they're actually, yeah.
My mind's gone to whether or not they could maybe make a bigger contract with the brand that they use in Concierge.
Elemis.
Elemis.
Now, let me tell you something. Elemis is the only product I use. I use it on my face. I use it on my eyes. I love Elemis. I will not go to a spa that's not an Elemis spa. And I know I sound like a jerk right now, but it's just being honest. Elemis products in the rooms would be huge. I don't think Disney's going to spend that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to spend that kind of money because that, unless Elemis is going to go off brand
Yeah.
and
They're
do a
expensive.
cheap product
It's expensive.
because that's expensive stuff.
They just passed that along to us as DVC owners.
Yeah. Goes into our dues.
Exactly. All right. Here's one that I thought was interesting, and Amy and I had actually went back and forth on it a little bit. Chris said, DVC does not need to continue to add on to existing resorts. Bring on reflections or something else new.
I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like both. I like new resorts, but I like adding DVC onto resorts that I don't typically get to stay at. Like I want to see Yacht Club, add some DVC. I think it's a very popular opinion that people want to see Yacht Club, become part of the DVC family. But, eventually they're going to run out of existing resorts and it's nice to have, new things like Riviera or Reflections. Hopefully that
The resort
land,
rooms at Grand Floridian are a huge hit.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
They're a huge hit. And of course, DVC is going to see that. And that now creates a path forward to start doing it in other resorts, which I'm all for.
Yeah, and it's inexpensive for them. And I do think it helped keep the cost to buy in down. You know what I mean? Like Riviera or Grand Floridian, when they came back online, the cost was a lot lower. I think if they had to have built new, they might have had to rethink those buy-in costs.
Yeah, and again, I think this is partially based around the idea of the Polynesian expansion as well, but that's a whole new building. We've got like 2 or 3 pictures of concept art so far, so we really don't know what that fully looks like. My concern when we look at adding on to existing buildings is really geared at the infrastructure. So do we have enough transportation methods? Do we have enough dining options? That kind of stuff associated with the resort that we're adding to. But I think they're being cognizant of that. They wouldn't, Grand Floridian, it wasn't that they added more quantity there. They took a building away from the hotel side and just turned it into DVC. So here, with the Polynesian expansion, that's going to be a whole new building. It looks like we're going to get some dining with that. I'm sure they're going to maybe get some more creative transportation options coming from there as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know how unpopular that particular opinion is, but we'll allow her to stay.
All right, Sarah, I do have a real interesting question about your unpopular opinion. You said Boardwalk is not good, the bathrooms are tiny, and the carpets are stinky. I've never personally gotten close enough to the carpets to really smell them, but...
Really, what's going on in your world?
But I will 100% get on your bandwagon in saying that Boardwalk definitely needs some love, and we do have probably by the time that we've put this show up, we'll have an article up that Boardwalk is on the map. They have announced a refurbishment for that entire resort. Yeah. They've started on that project. We don't have too much details as to the timing, what that looks like, and stuff like that. But Boardwalk was on the schedule to get a full refurbishment. It looks like the cogs and the wheels are turning in that direction.
I'm just happy Boulder Ridge is finally getting.
Yes. And have you seen the 2-page spread that they had in the Disney files?
Yeah.
It looks like it'll be really nice.
It looks
beautiful.
nice. It looks nice.
Well, if you feel
Better
that
than
way,
what it is now. I mean, I was just there last month, and I was ashamed to be in that room and bring somebody in.
Yeah, it's... And it breaks my heart because I love Boulder Ridge. I love Boulder Ridge. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not someplace I'd put someone I like.
No.
maybe you should address this to Jared then. Jared said, Boulder Ridge is perfect the way it is. If it never got refreshed and kept everything as it is, I would be perfectly happy and still stay there as often as I could.
What is this person's name?
Jared.
What? Okay, maybe you should get together with Marriott Boy and go stay in one. Okay?
Oh, no.
Sue has
Boulder
thoughts. Sue,
Ridge.
come on, you have thoughts. Go ahead.
No, I mean, really, it's unless you like creepy.
The Shining.
Yeah, it was The Shining.
Yes.
That's a good description of it. I mean, all I
The
could think of
Shining
is-
without the charm.
I'd rather stay at that hotel at The Shining.
You know, but maybe that's what Jared likes.
Come play with us, Jared.
No, I mean,
am
all kidding aside. It is so dilapidated. That's the word
Yeah.
to use for Boulder Ridge right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if your standard is dilapidated, I don't know why you didn't buy into a Motel 6 instead of DVC.
You'll be the only one that really gets this, but it reminds me of like the cabins at Camp Luther.
Yeah, I always thought that's what I was thinking. It does. It just reminds you of like you're roughing it.
It
like,
reminds
you're
you of your
camping.
roughing cabins
Yeah.
of like summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
it's like
I'm excited about this refurbishment. I think it looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the hotel, but there's a hotel at the Grand Canyon. It's a National Park Service hotel, and it's not nice. Okay, there's one that's like the upscale one, and then there's the moderate. Well, that's the one I've stayed at on ABDs. That looked like a community college, but like the community college from a horror film. It was awful. That's better than Boulder Ridge right now.
They put you in that for an ABD?
I know. And believe me, I made notes of that.
That's disappointing.
I don't know if they're still doing it. This was on the Cowboys and Canyons trip, the Arizona, Utah
Okay.
trip, which is magnificent, a magnificent tour if you want to do something in the United States. I'm getting fashion updates. Okay, later. I can't. I've not heard from anyone. Maybe he's just trying to get on the show with that opinion. I can't imagine anybody walks into those rooms and goes, "Oh, exactly what I was hoping for." And you know, my only experience at Boulder Ridge was a few years ago. It was my welcome home stay when I first bought in. And we have a video up. We'll put a link in the show notes, I guess, to the video I did with my mom. And my mother is a former housekeeping manager for a Sheraton. And if you think I'm tough, this is where Body Fluid Couch was born.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? We coined the term body fluid couch because of the stains.
Oh,
At Boulder Ridge. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That was not Boulder Ridge. That was not Boulder Ridge. That was Grand Floridian.
oh.
That was Grand Floridian, that review with my mother, where she refused to sit on the couch because it looked
Yeah.
like...
The Boulder Ridge couches.
There's a couple of
were
those at
past-
Boulder Ridge,
yeah,
too.
They
Yeah.
Were, they were past
Well,
their
my mother was... She just felt that the upholstery was dirty.
Mhm.
And she was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was right. But my mother literally would not sit on a couch at Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
Those were very bad until they refurbished them. So yeah, we've got some resorts that definitely need some love. So hopefully that's coming soon. I can think of.
But that was on the hotel side
Yeah.
with Grand
okay.
Floridian. That was not on the DVC side.
Oh well, that couch. Someone is sitting on that couch right now. Then because I don't think they
They're working
start
on,
the hotel.
Yeah, they've
Okay.
started on the other buildings, so they're getting around to them. But there's probably a couch still could be there to this day for all we know. So, But yeah, I mean, there were for unpopular opinions. I think there was a comment about like literally every resort. We could go through all of them. You know, each person maybe mentioned a resort, and I would just take away. You know, this wasn't meant to be a roast or anything like this. Your opinions are valid. They're just wrong in most scenarios. So I thought that was a successful second round of unpopular DVC opinions.
Oh, are we done?
We can. I can keep going.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more.
Okay. Let's see. Jennifer. Bay Lake Tower is totally overrated. The Contemporary is an airport terminal.
You people disappoint me. I don't think Bay Lake Tower is overrated. First of all, another well-run resort at Walt Disney World is the Contemporary.
Yep.
Diane Pettit is a incredibly competent general manager, and it's obvious at every level of that resort, from its front desk to its bell services to its valet to its restaurants, how well that resort is run. Now, again, that's the stuff I look at. The fact that they brought IP into the rooms of the Contemporary on the hotel side, I'm not a fan of the whole IP thing. It's not a make or break thing for me, but I'm not a fan of it. When I first stayed at Bay Lake Tower, I described it as having an apartment walking distance to the Magic Kingdom. And if you've tried getting to the Magic Kingdom, like through normal, like parking at TTC and taking a ferry or a monorail over, it's a pain in the ass to get to the Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
Being able to wake up in the morning, have my coffee, make my coffee in the room, walk over to the Magic Kingdom. It's about the only way you'll get me in the Magic Kingdom these days. So I don't agree with that. I don't think your opinion is wrong necessarily. Well, yes, it is wrong. But I don't think Bay Lake Tower is overrated.
And again, I think it falls into it goes back to the beauty of DVC, which is that what is your taste? What is your sort of appeal for the hotel environment? And there's a bunch of different options to choose from. And Bay Lake Tower right now is just falling into the same scenario as Boardwalk and some of these others where, you know, the refurbishments that they are doing are so above and beyond what we're used to that they're making the other hotels stand out like a sore thumb. Bay Lake Tower is another one where it needs a refresh. It needs a refurbishment. You know, they need to inject these things. And I will say that I think Disney Vacation Club is listening to that. They do seem to be working more aggressively towards these refurbishments. Boulder Ridge was the exception to that, where it was just delayed and delayed and delayed. But like, you know, Boardwalk has crept up on the list, I believe, because of the condition that it's in. Beach Club, I think, is up there, coming up pretty soon. So I think they're making a valid effort towards, you know, getting these things. One of the unpopular opinions, I didn't write it down, but someone had mentioned, you know, I would be willing to pay more in dues if the resorts were refurbished more regularly than the current schedule. And part of me has to agree with that.
Do you think the general membership would agree with that?
No.
That's why it's unpopular.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People don't like to spend more
No.
money,
Nope.
so that's probably a very unpopular
See,
opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think the refurbishment schedule is way too long
Yeah.
for the kind of traffic these resorts see, these rooms get. I think the refurbishment schedule. I mean, what is the average?
It's 7 years for a soft goods and 14 for a full refurb.
refresh.
And they get beat up by like the third or fourth year.
Yeah.
They're beat
Saratoga.
up.
Saratoga's already showing a lot of wear and tear in those.
Is it
rooms.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like 1 year out, right? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to a degree, it goes back to us people. You know, let's remember we are the owners of these resorts.
Right.
So you know, take a little bit
Yeah.
of care of them.
And something I think that does get the like members don't think to do sometimes is when you see something that needs fixed, even if it
Report it.
doesn't impact your vacation, report it. If you don't want someone in your room, report it after you leave, but at least report it so that maintenance knows and they could make these corrections before it becomes a bigger issue.
Well, there's also the argument could be made that housekeeping should be reporting this stuff. They're in the rooms all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember being one of the reviews we did at Grand Floridian Villas a few years ago. There was a heat stain from an iron on the table in a studio.
Yeah.
And it was clearly from an iron because it was in the shape of an iron. And it was like bad.
Yeah, it looks bad.
And I'm like, okay, housekeeping doesn't see that and say, hey, let's get a new table in here.
Yeah.
Um,
Or even just to refinish the top of that. I'm sure it wouldn't take maintenance, you know what I mean, that long to
there are
sand it
ways
down.
to get
And
heat stains out of that wood.
yeah, those things should be, I agree, fixed.
So things like that. Things like that. And look, if there's a tear in a couch, replace the couch. Let's not wait 14 years to do that stuff. But I'm glad, like I said, I'm just glad Boulder Bridge is finally getting done. I'm so glad. All right. I think that will do it because we've been going for a while here. Take my comments in good nature. I'm having fun. No one is banished. Well,
Except you, Jared. No.
Jared and
That's the
James.
only name I remember.
Jared and James.
Yeah.
Jared and James, I think we may have to get rid of you. No, seriously, we're just having good fun. Good fun with this. But thank you for sharing your unpopular opinions, and thank you for being with us. That is going to do it for our episode for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next week with another episode of the DVC Show. Have a great week, folks.